Hello friends, family, and the broader internet. My name is Erica. Welcome back to Erica Yells About Books. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I'm planning to read during April, my April TBR. I've picked out 7 books for the next month, which I'm expecting to read more than 7 books in a month, as I've been reading like 10 to 15 books so far in 2020. If I do end up reading way more than my TBR, I'm okay with that. There are so many more books on my bookshelves that need to be read, and there are a couple of books on my shelves that I want to reread. I'm not really worried about running out. The first book on my list is The Lies of Locke, Lamora. I'm actually borrowing this from a friend right now, so this is kind of like an urgent read. I've heard really great things about this series and Scott Lynch's writing and the way that the characters in this book develop a friendship. I'm so into friendship, so I'm really excited to read this fantasy book, which is the start of a series that I haven't tried yet. Second, I picked this up in a bookstore back when I was in the suburbs of Atlanta, which is where I grew up. It's called The Snow Gypsy. It's about 2 women during World War II times. I'm not really sure what it's about, but I thought the cover was beautiful and it fit my sudden impromptu theme of red, and I have been meaning to read another historical fiction like women's lit type book. So that's what this one is filling for this month. Third on my list, I have The Masked City, which is book 2 in the Invisible Library series by Genevieve Cogman. I really enjoyed the Invisible Library recently, and so I bought the second one at Half Price Books. I'm excited to get into reading more about the series and see where it's going as a bigger series as opposed to just like the one book that I was reading. I'm interested in getting into this series because it's not a trilogy. A lot of the books that are being published right now are being published as trilogies because trilogies are a really nice way to tell a story. You have a launching book, an ending book, and then this book of middle stuff that sets up the ending really well and ties up the loose ends in book 1. It's a really natural book flow. But it's kind of like all I read, so I'm getting pretty used to the story arcs and how that goes, and I've become really interested in looking for other ways to tell stories, whether that's duologies or sets of 4, or like this one, a more ongoing series, more in the vein of an ongoing mystery or thriller series. If I like this one, I'll definitely pick up the third, and so on and so forth. All these books are on sale, and I'm sorry that the price stickers are everywhere. You can tell that I buy books so often. Emergency Contact is a YA contemporary novel about teenagers. I think actually they're in the first year of college. Yeah, they're in the first year of college, and they meet and communicate and develop a friendship relationship over text message and the internet. I think this is a really poignant book for right now because we are in a time where most communication and most friendships are being built in the internet, generally, but then also just in this exact period, in the month of March/April 2020, our friendships are separated by a lot of distance, and so I thought this would be a good book for the times. Looking forward to something just fun and easy and hopefully heartwarming as a read. Speaking of books that are not exactly heartwarming, my nonfiction book for the month that I'm going to read is called Automating Inequality. It's about high-tech surveillance options and how the way we are developing technology and giving different groups of people, especially those in power, access to technology is helping us enforce income inequality and enforce the surveillance and regulation and oppression of marginalized groups. As I probably have already talked about, I'm really into power structures and thinking about how power works, and so this is a book that kind of fills that gap for me. Also, it's not very long as a nonfiction book goes. Next on my list is the first book in the Arc of a Scythe trilogy by Neil Shusterman. I have never read this book. I really don't know anything about it, but I bought the box set. From what I can tell, it seems to be about killing? Let me read the blurb. Oh, okay, it's about a population in which no one can ever die of natural causes, and so killing is its own career path. That sounds really interesting. Everything else I picked out happened to be red, and because I have 3 of these sitting on my TBR, I figured this would be a good time to put this one on there, so it's really not deep. Lastly, for this month, I've picked out Dread Nation, which is a alternate history that branches off from the Civil War with zombies. I don't know very much about this book, but I've heard it's beloved by the book community. So the sequel came out pretty recently, within the last year I think, and has also been pretty popular amongst folks, so I'm excited to get into this, and if I like it, I'll probably pick up the sequel for next month. that is officially the end of my TBR for the month of April. It is mostly by coincidence that the entire list is red, and also my outfit is red and pink. I picked out, I think, these 3 and then Emergency Contact, and then I was like, oh, all those books are red. Maybe I'll just finish the stack with other red books. I've been doing an informal thing this year where I've been reading like 1 nonfiction book for every like 2 or 3 fiction books I read, because I've been meaning to read more nonfiction. I tend to pick it up less just because nonfiction tends to move at a much like more gradual pace, but I figured with, you know, making videos like this and making like official TBR videos, I can actually put nonfiction and make it feature as kind of like a this is what I'm gonna do list. I will check back in at the end of April / when I finish all these books. I'm not actually interested in doing reviews in terms of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. It's not necessarily the books that I like the best that I'm keeping and recommending to people. Sometimes like books that I recommend all the time are not actually my favorite books because like the prose didn't click with me or the characters didn't work for me, but I can recognize that that book is going to like fit other people's reading styles really well. And so for me, like a 5-star rating, a 4-star rating, it doesn't really mean much unless I know that your reading style and like what you look for in books is exactly the same as what I look for in books. So I'm not really gonna get into that as a ranking system. What I'll probably do is give like a, here are 3 things I liked about it, here are 3 things I didn't like about it, what my overall impressions were, and then just say like, make some comparisons. If you liked other books that are similar to it, maybe you will like these. Maybe I'll even wear this cute pink blazer when I come back for that video. I will see you guys next time. How do you end a video? Is this how you do it? Am I doing it right?